I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call to quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stress, shield my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no given. Some days I don't hit, I don't sleep. When I'm focused on dangerous, down wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads whizzing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect. Let them watch me elevating. Got them noxious cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the house and woo. Watch how I get it here. Watch how I get it here. Watch how I get it here. Woo.
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers, and welcome to Best Bet for UFC Vegas 89. We got Rose Namajunas going against Amanda Ribas. We have 13 fights on this card. Very interesting card. We are once again back in the apex. A lot of closely lined fights. It looks like as of now, the biggest favorite on the card is Daria Zelenova, who just blew out to minus 255. So somebody's playing, Zelenova at minus 255. Wow, that's very interesting. But yeah, interesting card to talk about. I am here with Gordo and Probaholic. We'll kick it to you first, Gordo. Are you looking forward to UFC Vegas 89?
Yeah, man, we got some fights, so we'll take whatever we can get. Truly, we're just ramping up to UFC 300. So another fight card means we're even closer to that big one. But still, a lot of very closely lined fights. And you know what? As someone who's just excited to have fights and mostly a DraftKings player, it seems like a very interesting one to dive into. I know I've talked a lot about these close matchups this week and about a lot of underdogs being very live. But truthfully, I can make a case for almost every single fighter on the slate winning. The confidence level for the higher price salaries are a bit less. So let's see what we can do in the betting market, and let's see if we can go out there and make some money this weekend.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think you make a case for pretty much every single dog. Like even the biggest dog on the card, Montserrat Rendone. Like, would it shock anybody if she was able to kind of take down Zelenova and grind out a greasy decision? Not really. So it's a very interesting card. We got Propaholic, who I know is very heavily invested in this card. How you doing, Prop?
What's up, Brady? How you doing? It's actually my most heavily invested card of the year. Actually, my most heavily invested card I've ever had. I have about 15 units on this card, so I'm pretty excited for this card on a betting perspective. It's not the best name perspective, but a lot of stuff stuck out to me on the film, and I just think this is a really great betting card. I think it's going to be a violent card. I think there's going to be some great fights, and can't wait to jump into it with you guys.
Absolutely can't wait to do it. Before we get into it, if you guys could please do a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe here to the channel. As always, we have 10 bets for the show. So we have 13 fights total. So these guys will get 3 passes each. And let's hit up the chat. How you guys doing today? You guys looking forward to UFC Vegas 89? I know we got March Madness going on, some other things going on, but yeah, should be an interesting card this week. We got James with a best bet, Jarno by KO. Max bet. You will not get this guy at anything better than minus 200 going forward. This is the beginning of the Tony-esque title run. We'll see, James. Jarno Errens could potentially be a title contender. I don't know, man. We'll see, though. We got Ben in the building. What is up? Jevin saying smash the like button. I agree. Over under 3.5 eye pokes. Could say over. I think we can get it over here. We're in the apex. We always have some shenanigans in the apex. We got Jobin coming to member. Appreciate you, Jobin. What is up to you? Hopefully you're doing well on this Saturday. We got a late start time, which kind of sucks. This day's been so long. I got up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and still kicking. So I might fall asleep during the Carl Williams fight potentially. Is this live? Yes, this is live. We are live. Yes, sir. What is up, Big Hash? Appreciate you, Forrest, for hanging in here. Much love from Portland. There you go. We got Long in the building. What is up? Brendan's saying fights, no fights, any day. 100% agreed. Probaholic called the C-Rod upset. He did. Controversial for sure, but he did call it. There you go. We got 138 who will be on the show next week for Atlantic City. We got a nice crew next week for Atlantic City. I'm looking forward to that. Is Rose the best? We'll have to see. Please trash this card. I'm not going to trash the card. Come on. We got some fights to talk about. Some of these comments I cannot pull up. Oh my gosh. And yes, Eric, you are on the big screen. What is up? And then Uncle Weezy for president. I cannot agree more. I think we need a guy like Uncle Weezy in office. I think that'd be phenomenal. All right. One day I'm going to give you a fire haircut. Thanks for all the good bets. I could use actually need a haircut. I'm going to get one in the next couple of days there. All right. I say we get into it, guys. Let's get right into the first fight of this 13 fight card. We have Mick Parkin going against Muhammad Usman. We got Parkin minus 130, Muhammad Usman plus 110. People loving them. Some Muhammad Usman, he opened up plus 165, now down to plus 110. So yeah, this line's closing up throughout the week. We'll kick it to you first, Probaholic. What are you liking here to kick off the card?
Yeah, I'm liking nothing here. This is going to be a sloppy heavyweight fest, so I'm going to pass. I think it's going to go to split decision. I just don't want anything invested, but I'm picking Usman to win by split, though, but nothing for me here, though.
All right, passing on the Parkin fight. So you have 2 passes left. Gordo, what are you liking for this first fight of the night?
I don't know, man. This is a card with a lot of very close contested matchups, and I think I want to save my passes for some even sloppier ones, if that even is possible. You know what? There's a solid opportunity that you reading the comment section might be more entertaining than this bout. This one could be a pretty low level one. It could be a pretty ugly one, but at the end of the day, I think that the line should just be wider on the Mick Parkin side. I'm not very high on Muhammad Usman. I think that he is a guy who is one-shot power, wrestling or bust. I don't think he would manage too well. I think he can be, let's say, out-volumed and out-pressured on the feet. And although he's been able to go out there and land takedowns, comparing those wins over Tafa and Collier and even a one-shot knockout over Pauga doesn't really get me too excited to back him at plus 110. If he was a large underdog, maybe, but at this point in time, I think the guy here to go with is Mick Parkin. I'll be taking him on the money line. Not something I always want to do to start the night off, but I do think he is the better fighter here. A lot of people are bringing into account last matchup, left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. I don't care. You know, you got a guy going forward like Machado is going to bring a whole different matchup than someone like Usman who's willing to, try to land that one-shot power from the outside. I think it very well could be a low-volume affair where Parkin just has the damage and output edge, and I do think he should win this fight. Let's get it and continue to get the undefeated record for Mick Parkin here.
All right, Parkin minus 130 on the money line for Gordo, and Probaholic passing on the first fight of the card. Let's see. We got Parkin is bigger. We got Tone in the building. What is up? Let's see here. We got Blumdog saying, what's going on, gentlemen? Got some wild bets. Eerily confident. I have a couple bets myself. Looking forward to what Prop has to say. He's very heavily invested in this card. I think Gordo has a decent amount of bets as well. Jesse saying, how do we feel about Andre Lima in parlays? I wouldn't, but we'll have to hear what these guys have to say. We're going to talk about that fight next, but I'm actually on the other side as far as a pick goes, but that line's closed down a little bit. Let's see. What is your guys' favorite fight on the card? My favorite fight on the card is going to be, I think it's got to be the Ricardo Ramos, Julian Arosa fight. I think that fight's going to be phenomenal. Or the Fernando Padilla Puello fight. It's going to be fun. How about you guys? Gordo, what's your favorite fight?
Yeah, I just said it right there. Padilla Puello should be an absolute banger for as long as it lasts. That one, as well as one we're about to talk to, should be great.
Prop, what do you like in favorite fight?
I agree with my guy in the comments here. I can't wait for Lima versus De Silva. It's going to be a banger.
Yeah, we got some good fights on this card for sure. Parkin decision, no bet, minus 106. I don't know. I struggle to see anybody getting a finish in this one. Do you guys think anybody can get a finish? Which is crazy. Like, it's a heavyweight fight, but I don't know what a finish even looks like from either of these guys.
I mean, many people expected too much from Usman against Pauga, and yet he still was able to land that one power shot. I know that's Pauga, but I truly think that could be a path if he has to. But truthfully, I do think it goes all 15.
I feel like Mick Parkin, if anything, because Usman couldn't even finish Tafa on the ground. If he can't finish Tafa on the ground, I don't think he can finish Parkin on the ground.
Yeah, it's a weird fight. Get the art, Scott Usman. Parkin looked bigger at face-offs. Usman is going to smash Parkin's face. He's got to throw something to do it. He's very low volume. What is up, Dean? Eigor, Andre. Yeah, that's going to be a banger. Cannot wait to talk about that. Usman will KO him. Yeah, he does throw hard. When he does let his hands go, he throws hard. And this card was only acceptable in 2020. Hey, come on. Parkin KO plus 550. Fight goes to decision as well. Yeah, I think that as well. But the only problem is the fight goes to decisions minus 155. We never see fight goes to decisions, minus 155 for heavyweight fights. I mean, it's kind of weird, but at the same time, like I said, hard to see anybody finishing this fight. All right, guys, let's move on to the next fight. We have, we didn't even talk about Peyton Talbot, Cameron Simons, another incredible fight for this card as well.
Yeah.
But we got Andre Lima going against Eigor de Silva. We got Andre de Lima is minus 155 now. We got Silva is plus 135. We got Lima, who is coming down a little bit. He was all the way down to like minus 190. Now back to minus 155. And then people are liking them some. De Silva, he was sitting around the plus 165 range for a second, now to plus 135. So late money coming in on the dog throughout the week. We'll start with you, Gordo. What are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, I think this fight's going to be an absolute barn burner. You have two undefeated Brazilian prospects, both young in their careers, and I do think it makes for a very, very fun matchup. I was very, very close to getting to the Eigor de Silva line on my own betting card, and I couldn't get there, but guess what? I'll take him here. We're not really, these are some hypothetical units, and I can go out there and have the balls to play him here, and I'll do that here. Plus 140, where you're going to take Eigor de Silva, Severino, whatever it's going to be. And truthfully, the only reason I couldn't get there myself on my own official betting card was just because the guy's only 20 years old. He still is very underdeveloped. He has a lot of improvements and strides to make. But truthfully, I do think he has more paths to getting it done. I like his volume. I like his aggression. I do think he's going to be a guy on the front foot. Andre Lima is a guy who has that kickboxing experience. I think he is going to be way better defensively sound than Eigor de Silva. However, sometimes defense doesn't always win matchups. I do think De Silva is going to have the ability to press forward, potentially mix in some grappling, and just fight at a higher pace. And although Lima has been pretty good defensively, I do think the offensive edge goes to De Silva in what should be a very, very closely contested matchup. So give me Eigor de Silva, only 20 years old, a lot of time to come into his own, but I do think the guy has a good fundamental skill set to go out there and have some success.
All right, Eigor de Silva, I see plus 146 on Bovada. So Gordo on the dog here. Propaholic, what are you liking for this flyweight banger?
Yeah, I'm going to be going with that Eigor de Silva money line as well. I actually have a 1.3 unit bet on him at plus 135. I just feel like him training with Joannison Brito since he's 15 years old at Shoot the Boxe, I feel like that's going to play a pretty big factor in here. I know Andre Lima, he's a very good kickboxer. He does very good work to the body. He has 80 Muay Thai kickboxing matches. I just feel like in his MMA career, the only time he's ever faced grappling adversity, he was stuck in an arm triangle. He gave up the back. He was in a rear naked choke as well. And he was a brown belt when that fight happened. And then he all of a sudden, after that fight, got promoted to a black belt. And when he was a black belt in his last fight, yeah, he stuffed a little bit of takedowns, but his opponent was throwing absolutely no volume, and he was doing no pressure at all. Like, we know with De Silva, when we watch De Silva's tape, he has good pressure. He's very technically sounded for 20 years old. And like what Daniel Cormier was saying, he's pretty raw for 20 years old, but you could tell with his game that he's technical and very high volume for the way he fights. I feel like he can get to De Lima here. The only thing that worries me is the body kicks. I feel like the body shots can get to De Silva here, but I feel like all around the MMA, and he's going to have more volume here. He's going to be the one to mix in the grappling. I feel like he can hurt De Lima here. I don't think De Lima's faced any forward pressure adversity. I know he's gone 12 minutes in kickboxing fights, but those are 3-minute rounds. These are 5-minute mixed martial arts rounds. And when he got tested, the only time I think he got tested was in that LFA fight. And I think he's going to get tested more than he's ever got tested here against De Silva. And I think De Silva's young. I think he's hungry. He's high volume, good wrestling as well. I think he's going to get to De Lima here. So give me plus 135 on the dog. Both these guys are really good prospects, but I just feel like De Silva has the better all-around mixed martial arts game here.
All right. So both guys going with De Silva at plus 146. Decent-sized dog there. See what you guys are saying in the chat on this one. We got great fight. De Silva by decision, plus 450. I'm actually picking him by decision as well. I don't hate that. The 8-0 beats the 7-0. We got Fighter Faye. What is up? Good to see you in here. Still made it live stream. Let's stack some tickets tonight. Let's do it. Yeah, this fight's going to be fun, man. I like Eigor by a third-round knockout. Surprised they matched these two up. Yeah, two solid. I think these guys both are pretty dang solid. Talbot is a stud. Agreed. We got Lou Betcha cashing the Brady with the hat minus 150. It was only minus 150 today. I mean, yeah, that was a smash spot. That was a smash spot. Eigor all day. Lima getting this one done. How old am I? Kind of a weird question to ask somebody, but I'm 25 years old. Brady with a hat is way more. Yeah, I mean, it's probably minus 300, but I might be making an appearance without a hat in the very near future. That's for sure.
Especially if you get that free haircut.
Yeah, I need a haircut bad. Scared money don't make you money. Absolutely. All right. I say we move on to the next fight. We got the biggest favorite on the card, Daria Zelenova, going against Montserrat Rendone. Some late money coming in on Zelenova. I was surprised she got to even minus 210. Now she's minus 255. Rendone is now plus 215. Gordo, are you laying the minus 255 here on Zelenova?
No, I'm not. Just putting it simply, I definitely am not. And you know what? This is a interesting matchup to say the least. I think when it comes down to most likely outcomes, I do think the most likely outcome is that Daria goes out there and outstrikes Rendone. And that's just how it is. But when it comes down to probability and going to see which one of these fighters is more tested, I do think this line is wide. Although I'm going to go out there and gun to my head pick Daria, I don't think that I'm want to go out there and lay minus 275 on a girl who is so inexperienced, on a girl who has her own flaws, whether that be on the ground, whether that be on the game, submission game. And I do think it makes it for a really close matchup. Now, truthfully, if I was going to go out here and say best bet, maybe I'll just take a Rendone on the money line. But I got some spots to make up. I really have some distance to make up in the standings in this contest. So we're going to have some fun here. We're going to take Montserrat Rendone by submission at plus 1,800. Again, this is not something that is going to happen every time. This is not a lock to happen. But when I think it comes down to probability, plus 1,800 on someone who I do think has a clear ground advantage is something I'm going to go out here and take. You know, she is someone who does have a brown belt. She is someone who does have the ability to work on the ground. And we saw Daria in her one loss got absolutely mantled down there. I'm not saying it happens all the time. I'm just saying that although the striking advantage is apparent on the feet, I do think Rendone has a ground advantage here. And you know what? If she does get on top position, I do think she has the skills to go out there and submit someone in Daria. And that is a likely path to victory that we're getting at plus 1,800. Decent odds. Let's have some fun with it.
All right, let's have some fun. 1 unit to win 18 on Rendone by sub. Probaholic, what are you liking in this fight here?
Yeah, I actually got Zelenova's point spread at minus 3.5 at plus 160 for a unit. But here I'm just gonna take her decision at plus 125. I just don't think Rendone's grappling and her wrestling is good at all. I think her grappling's pretty shit, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Everything she has is in the body locks. I don't think she's going to be able to get body lock takedowns here. Yeah, she's a 12-time national Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champ in her state, but I just don't really feel like it's going to play into a big factor here. I feel like she just can't stop the 1-2 at all. She's not reactive to strikes. She's going to be at a huge speed disadvantage here. And she doesn't open mat and wrestle at all, which I feel like that's why this line's gotten absolutely steamed. So, yeah, I think Rendone's tough, though. I think she's durable. I think she's got that Mexican toughness in her. But I just don't think she's going to get the wrestling going, and I think she's going to get outpointed to decision. So, give me the decision at plus 125. It's a good way to reduce that minus 250 money line.
Yeah, I think that's the most likely outcome in this fight. I'm picking Zelenova by decision there. Let's see what we got in the chat here. Yeah, I'm only 25 on the outside, but on the inside, I'm 50 years old. I gained like 30 years after betting on Lupe Godinez versus Angela Hill. So I do identify as a 50-year-old male, but I am actually 25 years old. You had the Penn State hat minus 1,000. I couldn't find it today, so I had to break out the DraftKings hat. Any parlay pieces today? Hate the sketch cards. From a money line standpoint, I don't think there's any money lines I'd parlay. Maybe Rose. I don't mind violence in the Ramos fight, but it's kind of a tricky card for parlays, I'd say.
I feel like Shabazian's a good one.
Shabazian, yeah, I think Shabazian should win, but it's hard to trust him. Brady is somehow way younger and way older than me at the same time. Yeah, like I said, I do identify as a 50-year-old male after gaining 25 years betting on fighters like Gina Mazzani. Should I void my Daria bet? No, she should win. It's just I'm not betting the fight personally. Daria should win. Agreed. Daria KO plus 400. It could be. She does hit hard. I actually like her striking. It's just I don't know. Another weird question there. Another
Same
weird
guy.
question. There you go. Anywhere from 13 to size 14. On I don't know. It all depends on the shoe. Hollow Monday line. We'll talk about that. All right. I say what? I don't know, Ty. I don't know. All right. I say we keep moving on to the next fight. We have Stephen Nguyen going against Jarno Errens. We got some massive line movement on this one. We got Stephen Nguyen, who was at one point the biggest favorite on the card. He opened at minus 300, currently minus 157. Jarno Errens opening up plus 250, currently plus 137. People liking them. Some Jarno Errens. Propaholic, are you one of those people?
No, I actually like the over 2.5. I mean, I actually parlayed it at minus 205, and it's moved on me pretty heavily now. I got reverse CLV'd, but I'm gonna pick win by split decision. I think the line's plus 700. I feel like this is gonna be a pretty close fight. I feel like Errens can mix in some grappling. I think he's gonna be the one to actually knock down Nguyen in the first round. I feel like he's gonna be the one to actually struggle with the power of Errens in the first round. But I feel like on volume-wise, Nguyen's going to have more pressure. I think he's going to throw more volume. I know he's been on the Contender Series 3 times. His second Contender Series performance, I really thought was a little bit suspect. But he's not – I don't really think he has that much power. I feel like he fights more to just, like, what his opponent's doing. And I just feel like he's kind of just, like, to stand at range, box his opponent to decision. I don't really think he really, like, goes for the kill too much. So – yeah, I'm going to pick the fight 10 by split. Errens is going to land the bigger shots. I think Nguyen's going to land more volume, and I think it's going to be a close fight. So give me win by split. I think it's plus 700 on William Hill, if I'm pretty sure.
Win by split decision plus 700 for Propaholic. I think that's actually really on the table. Gordo, what are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, not much on this one. I think this is a battle between two guys who I don't project to do well long term. Being on Contender Series 3 times for Nguyen is never good luck. And although you go out there and you can land as many strikes you want against AJ Cunningham, it's still AJ Cunningham at the end of the day. With that being said, we haven't seen enough from Jarno Errens to really trust him at the UFC level. He has been low volume. He has been someone you can't really trust. So on a card like this, even though my numbers are telling me to go buy low on Stephen Nguyen in this spot because he is more proven to throw volume, I'm going to pass on this one.
All right, nothing wrong with that. Passing on the win fight here. All right. And then Prop, you're taking the win by split of plus 700, which, again, I think that could be on the table. Let's talk about the Julian Arosa to win in round 2 and round 3 plus 1,400. I actually was looking at those as well. I mean, Julian Arosa round 2, round 3 is always in play against most guys. I have a stupid amount of win on DraftKings, win KO round 3. You got Papa Chalk in the building. Yo, dudes, good luck to everyone today. Let's pray for Tafa walk-off KO. I feel you, Brady. For me, it was Jasmine Jazz the Vicious by KO plus 600. Now I'm an old man internally. Yeah, I had Jasmine KO 2 at plus 2,000. Jasmine KO 3 at plus 3,000. Ridiculous lines. I'm still not sure how those did not cash. But yeah, that aged me a couple years as well. Let's see here. Wins. I leaned so as well. Blom Dog saying, I'm Dutch and Errens has been quite a letdown, but I think this is a good spot to get a win. If he can't, he probably won't be UFC caliber. Yeah, I think if he's going to win, it's got to be in this fight. All right, let's keep moving on, guys. We have Miles Johns going against Cody Gibson. We got Miles Johns minus 140, Cody Gibson plus 120. A little bit of love on the dog here. The lines kind of stayed the same throughout the week, though, but I do see a lot of people on Gibson. I'm one of those people. We'll kick it to you first, Probaholic. What are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go crazy. I actually have bets on Cody Gibson round 2 and round 3 at 1,200 and 1,700. But for the sake of the show, I'm going to give Cody Gibson round 3 sub. I think it's plus 4,400 on FanDuel. We've seen Miles Johns subbed in the 3rd round before against John Castaneda. And we've seen Cody Gibson on his regional scene film break guys down and use his wrestling late in his fights. And I feel like here, this is the great opportunity to do it. In his interview, he said that he knows Miles Johns. He's like, yeah, Miles Johns, he's going to go for the overhand right. He's going to try to counter me over top all the time. But he's like, I know he's like, he's going to try to mix in takedowns as well. But he's like, I know to keep this guy on the back foot. He wants to get a performance award as well because his wife's going into labor as well. So he says he needs the money. And we've seen Cody Gibson and what he's really capable of in late rounds as well. Against Brad Katona. He said he didn't mix in wrestling as well, guys, against Brad Katona because he hated him and because he was on the Tough Enough show as well and because Katona was talking a lot of trash about him. But, yeah, Miles Johns on 2 weeks' notice and going into a 3rd round with Cody Gibson, who really goes to the wrestling late, and he hunts arm triangles, which Miles Johns didn't defend the arm triangle at all against Castaneda, plus 4,400 with a guy who's going to have better cardio, more pressure, more volume, and will mix in the wrestling late, and said he's going to mix it in early against Miles Johns. Yeah, plus 4,400 for me all day. Cody Gibson, round 3 submission. I have late sprinkles on him as well, 2-3.
Jeez. Plus 4,400, Cody Gibson, round 3 sub, one of the biggest.
Catching up to 138. Catching up.
ever. Yeah, I mean, you'd surpass him if you hit that. If you hit that, 44-1. Gordo, you got any 44-1 props you like in here?
No, my balls aren't that big. I did bet Cody Gibson round 3 at plus 2,000 with you as well. So I'm with you in the late round props. I'm with you on that going, but we're going to go a bit safer here. I'm not going to go fully out there. Cody Gibson on the money line, though. He is one of my favorite underdogs in the entire card. I do think he has more advantage to get it done. Miles Johns may be the better technical counter striker of the two, but the guy with forward pressure, the guy with the more volume, the guy with more size and even grappling path to victory, as Probaholic alluded to, is going to be a guy here in Cody Gibson, in my opinion. Miles Johns can wrestle as well, but in doing so, we've seen him tire out. And on short notice, it only favors someone like Cody Gibson. I do think his size, his pressure, his volume is something to get it done. And I don't think he should be an underdog in this spot here. I like him on the money line. I don't mind the late round sprinkles if you want to get after it like that. However, I'll be a little safer here and take some Cody Gibson on the money line.
All right, Probaholic shooting for the moon. Gordo taking a little bit safer. I like it. Dean saying Cody for the win. Rose, Carla, Age, just all. Yeah, that fight felt like a fever dream. I was watching that live at B-Dubs and just felt like it took an hour to get that fight over with. It was terrible. Great job of making these videos. Yeah, love making them. Love coming on here on a Saturday. John's by decision. Brady by second round corner stoppage. I like that prediction. Cody by sub. Yeah, 44-1 for that round 3. We got Dean saying good luck. Boys, may the betting gods be with you tonight. May the betting gods be with you as well, Dean. We got Uncle Wheezy in the building. Yes, what's good, Brady, Gordo, and Prop? What is up, Uncle Wheezy? We got Jovan on that Gibson round 3 plus 2,000. Yeah, I think it could be live. And then they have the Gibson 2-3 combo at plus 550 on Bovada. Last time I remember that it was Jonathan Van at plus 230 in his last fight. Yeah, plus 2-3 I think is definitely in play there. All right. I say we move on. We got 138 saying people or Prop saying he's coming after me. His music to my ears needs some of that competition. Yeah, if he hits that 44-1, I mean, we could all be in serious trouble. But let's move on to one of the most exciting fights of the night, in my opinion. We got Ricardo Ramos going against Julian Arosa. We got Ramos minus 189, Julian Arosa plus 164. Very fun fight here. We'll start with you, Gordo. What are you liking for this fight?
Yeah, you alluded to it. It's one of the best fights in the card. I think it's a very entertaining one at that. And this is a spot where I have just taken the fight doesn't go for a straight play in my own bets. But I'm not out here in the process of giving out minus 200 on this show. So we're going to be a bit safer and go with the fight doesn't start round 3. I do think violence props are the way to go. Both these guys have seemed to implode early on in fights. Julian Arosa is a guy with an incredible offensive skill set and frame for the division, but no chin, no durability, and that really limits him in a lot of these spots here. Although Ricardo Ramos isn't the biggest power threat, he's got spinning elbows, and sometimes you don't have to be the biggest power threat against Julian Arosa. So I do think that is a spot here. However, offensively, I do think Arosa has all the tools. Both these guys haven't finished early, and I do think a finish materializes with the pace each one of these guys have, with the durability each one of the concerns have, and the overall lack of reliability these guys have. So give me the fight to start round 3, minus 122. It is a spot I do like here. I do think that it ends early, and it should be a fun one for as long as it lasts.
All right, looking for some violence here is Gordo. Prop, what are you liking here for this fight?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ramos KO 1 at plus 600. I just feel like the line's pretty off, knowing that Ramos always comes out in round 1. He always comes out, always setting up his spinning attacks, always comes out throwing wild as well. And obviously, we've seen Arosa get clipped in his last 2 losses in round 1 and get knocked out pretty badly, especially against Padilla as well. Arosa has no striking defense as well. So I just really feel like plus 600 on a guy in Ramos for a guy who fades and for a guy in Arosa who's going to push the cardio pace on him in the second and third round. I feel like Ramos is going to come out balls to the wall, especially the way he came out last fight as well and got Jourdain down and just ended up tapping out to that guillotine. Didn't even try escaping as well. I feel like he's going to come out pissed off and knows that Arosa's been knocked out, and knowing that he's been finished 4 times in the first round, I feel like he knows as well that his path to victory is in the first round via knockout as well, because Arosa has good submission defense as well. So I feel like he's just going to stand and bang on him and test the chin with him in the first round. So give me 6-1 on Ramos KO 1.
Yeah, I mean, testing the chin of Julian Arosa would be a very smart game plan for Ramos. So both guys looking for violence here. Let's see. We got the DK experiencing bold prediction, Arosa sub 1. We got Clark saying Uncle Wheezy for president. I agree. I cannot agree more. We got Monk in the building. What is up, Monk? Best of luck to you today. We'll talk about that Billy Q fight soon. Very interesting line movement there. Arosa to be knocked out again. Yeah, I mean, if he gets knocked out, it should shock nobody. Rooting for Juicy J, but he's lost his health bar, it seems. Yeah, that is correct. And add fight doesn't go to decision to any parlay with Ramos or Arosa, easy money. Yeah, I think it does probably finish here as well. All right, guys, we'll keep moving on to the next fight. We got Trey Ogden going against Kurt Holloway. We got Trey Ogden minus 144, Kurt Holloway plus 124. Some more love on the dog here, it looks like. We got Kurt Holloway was as high as plus 145 1 point, now down to plus 124. We'll kick it to you first, Probaholic. What are you liking on this fight here?
Man, I'm taking a lot of big shots today, but I actually have a track bet on the Holloway scorecards equals no action at minus 140, but for the sake of the show, I want to be fun, so I'm going to give Holloway KO at plus 650 on Bet Rivers. I just feel like the line's pretty off, knowing that Holloway uses his aggressiveness and his power to overwhelm opponents. Like, we saw him do it against a cardio machine and Austin Hubbard, and I know Austin Hubbard, he pushes the pace more than Trey Ogden. Trey Ogden likes to stand the distance and go with the jab, and he likes to mix some takedowns as well. But I really feel like that in that Jordan Levitt fight, he really didn't deal with any pressure. He didn't really deal with any adversity. And when he dealt with any sort of grappling, he gassed himself out in the first round, like going for that guillotine. So I really feel like Holloway, with his aggressiveness, knowing that he survived on the ground with guys like Moises, I feel like he could survive Ogden on the ground as well and just overwhelm him and use his power and use his aggressiveness and try to knock out Trey Ogden. So yeah, and we saw Trey Ogden rocked in the last fight against Mata as well. So I really feel like Holloway can just overwhelm him. I think his last 3 finishes have been by besides the Austin Hubbard finish, were by knockout as well. And he's got power. So yeah, give me the Holloway knockout at plus 650. I think the line is way off for a guy who, and Trey Ogden is just, I don't really think it's tough on the striking aspect at all.
All right. Holloway KO plus 650. Gordo, what are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, well, Probaholic said he didn't want to give out Holloway finish only because it was no fun, and now I feel like I'm no fun because that's what I'm going to give out here too. I myself have a play on that track. I do think that is a good way to target this one. I think that Trey Ogden, if he fights to the best of his ability, his style really plays more towards decision. He is willing to stick and move from the outside. He is willing to mix in wrestling. He doesn't have that same finish equity that Kurt Holloway does. He doesn't push the same pace. So when I look at the most likely outcome for this, either seems to be Holloway inside the distance or Trey Ogden by decision. But we saw Trey Ogden go out there and put on the best performance he ever has against Mota last time, and that was against a far inferior opponent. He couldn't get a finish till later. The guy is more of a decision machine, and in doing so, I kind of like the finish only line for Kurt Holloway. Holloway will go out there, balls to the wall. He's a dog. He'll fight for your money, and he is someone who I do think has more finish equity in this spot, whether it be like KO, like Propaholic mentioned, or whether it be like submission, because the guy's pretty dangerous in his own right, and Ogden has been submitted before. So either way, I do think a finish materialized on the Holloway side, but taking the finish only kind of covers us in case Ogden is able to neutralize that offensive storm.
All right. Finish only. Looks like I'm on that finish only. Gordo, you're on that finish only, and so is Prop. So hopefully we all three
on it.
Minus 140.
That's what I have too. All right, cool.
There we go. Let's cash it, guys. Is Probaholic over 18? Yes, everybody on the show is over 18. Ogden sub 3. I hope not. Let's go ahead and do Holloway sub plus 550. That's personally what I'm picking, but yeah, it could be knockout as well. Holloway inside the distance. Ogden decisions, a Snorefest, that is certainly on the table. That's kind of why I like that finish only. And then Joel liking the parlay of Arosa round 3 and Cody Gibson round 3 plus 31,500. I mean, both those are in play if you ask me. And I have this fight over 2.5. It could. It's
a good
let's see here. What were you going to ask if Probaholic was 18? That's a weird question, Flex. Come on.
A lot of age questions today. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's getting a little
Rose is on the card and Pat Barry's in the corner. So a lot of questions.
I'm 18? I hope not.
That must be what it is. But what we're going to do now is, if you guys have not already liked the video, be sure to like the video. We have over 700 watching between YouTube and Twitter, which, by the way, I'm so psyched that we can finally, post videos to Twitter. So if you're watching from Twitter, what is up to you? YouTube as well. We're going to do a quick recap of the bets. We'll start with Gordo. So Gordo, Mick, Parkin moneyline minus 130. Eigor to Silva moneyline plus 146. Rendone sub plus 1800. Passing on the win fight. Cody Gibson moneyline plus 120. The Ramos fight won't start round 3 minus 122, and then Holloway finish only minus 140. Gordo, does all that look correct for the prelims?
Yes, it does.
All right. Propaholic, you're passing on the Parkin fight. You got Eigor to Silva money line as well, plus 146. Zelenova decision, plus 125. Win split, plus 700. Gibson round 3 sub, plus 4,400. Ramos KO 1, plus 600. Hollabach KO, plus 650. Prop, does that look good to you?
Yep, well, it looks perfect to me.
Sounds good to me. The chat's getting a little crazy here. I am 25 years old there, but I do identify as a 50-year-old man after having a round 3 bet on Christian Rodriguez last week. It aged me 25 years. I'm now 50. Yeah, I mean, I almost smashed my TV. Like it was
grabbing another glove too, man. Like
yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. Let's see here. You got kicked off of Twitter. Oh no. I'm 25. All right. Let's move on. Enough about ages. Let's talk some more fights. We got the first fight on this main card. We got Fernando Padilla going against Luis Pajelo. We got Padilla minus 175, Pajelo plus 150. Like I said earlier, I think this is one of my favorite fights on the card. I think it's going to be an absolute war here. We'll start with you first, Gordo. What are you liking for this fight?
Man, this fight's amazing. I think it's one that I want to have some DraftKings exposure, and I think it's one that I want to sit back and watch as a fan. But when it comes down to attacking the betting market, I'm not liking too much here, and this will be one where I'm using a pass, actually. Fernando Padilla is a guy who I'm pretty high on personally. I know he got Kyle Nelson last time, but fair play. People have in the past. At least one Canadian can win, right? Just the worst one. But no, but he's a guy who I still think has very good boxing. He will have the length, and he's just a more proven guy. But Puello, Corazon de Leon, he is a guy who does have the heart of a lion. He will continue to go forward, and in doing so, I think it poses different challenges, whether it be a volume-based thing. We haven't really seen the chin tested too often. Either way, all these things point to that. I think the line's about correct. I think there's a lot of opportunities for it to go a bunch of different ways, and if that's the case, I just want to sit back, enjoy as a fan, and pass on this one best bet-wise.
All right, Gordo using up his second pass. Propaholic, you have 2 passes left as well. Are you using that pass here, or is there something that you like?
No, I actually like that Puello money line at plus 150. I have a bet on him at plus 160 for 1 unit. I just feel like pricing him at plus 160 in this fight against a guy in Padilla who kind of likes to stand at range. You know, he got rocked against Nate Richardson, which I really didn't feel like was a good look. He got rocked off a jab against Kyle Nelson. So I feel like when he kind of gets hit, I feel like he kind of tends to just back up and kind of likes to fight at range and not really get into a firefight. And that's when I kind of feel like his opponent leads the way and leads the bigger shots. And that's kind of why the fight with Richardson was close. So, and that's why Nelson was able to get the decision win over him as well with leg kicks. But I know Puello, I know he like tends to get hit. I know he doesn't have a good striking defense. I know he's getting into these wars on the regional scene. But when has Padilla ever got the pace pushed on him? Like, I bet Julian Arosa thinking that, oh, well, Julian Arosa is going to push the pace on him. But I bet on Julian Arosa knowing that his chin's expired. I know with Puello that his chin's not expired, and I bet on Julian Arosa as a favorite in that fight as well. So I'm getting a guy in Puello who's an absolute savage, who has absolute unreal pressure, and a guy in Padilla who everyone's on his sub prop. Like, the guy literally stated he has the best rubber guard. He doesn't offensively wrestle. He doesn't grapple in any of his fights. The last fight you actually have to go watch him grapple in is against this guy, Fareed Muhammad, a guy who's like 6-10. And he was getting taken down in that fight and couldn't submit him until the 3rd round, I'm pretty sure. So I feel like the sub prop is just like, I just don't like the sub prop at all. I like Puello this week. I think he's going to overwhelm him. Could he get knocked out? Yes. But I think he's going to really bring the fight to Padilla. And I think he's one of the more live dogs on the card. And I think he's just someone you really want to have your money on. And his boxing, like the way he gets in the pocket and the way he just throws big power shots and commits to it, I feel like he could overwhelm Padilla. So, yeah, plus 150, I just feel like there's a good probability on the guy. So, yeah, I like Puello here. I think he's a lot of value in the spot.
All right, prop taking the dog shot on Pajelo. And Gordo is passing. DK liking the Pajelo by decision there. Rose is going to make it look easy. You all forgot. I don't think anybody's picking Hebos on this show. I'll be curious to hear these guys' thoughts, though. Joel taking Padilla round 2. Professor saying optimal DK lineup is going to be weird tonight. I think so as well. I think we could have a ton of salary left over. I think a lot of dogs are coming through tonight. The optimal lineup might not top 550. We shall see. We shall see. I will pass on this one as well. As a fan, we'll sit back and watch. Be exciting to watch it. This is going to be a fun one to watch. Absolutely. All right. Let's keep moving on to the next fight. We have a very interesting fight here. We got Billy Quarantillo going against Yousef Zalal. And I have one question to ask. What the heck is going on? Yousef Zalal opened up plus 250, which was that stupid, yes. But now he's minus 129. Billy Quarantillo is now plus 109. I think that's very interesting. So we'll start with you, Gordo. Do you agree with this line movement, or what are you thinking here?
Man, I definitely don't. And this is a really interesting one to me because sure, there may be a little bit of bias on me on the Billy Q side. I'm a big fan of his and his fight style. He helped me out with tickets to UFC Nashville. The guy's a great guy. But this line movement is just astronomical. It's insane. I mean, Yousef Zalal is a guy who has been historically one to slow down fights. And I guess you now have, a 55% implication that he's going to slow down Billy Quarantillo. I'm not too sure about that. And I am on the Billy Q side of things. Not only do I have him on the money line for a few units, I also have his round 3 prop at plus 2,000, which is incredible. Like that is also pretty wide. But breaking down the fight as a whole, I do think it's one where it is going to be the control and pace, or slowing down the pace of Yousef Zalal versus the volume, the activity, and the forward pressure Billy Q. I mean, that's what Billy Q does. He isn't the biggest power puncher. He isn't the most technical, but he's a dog. He'll go forward and look to break your opponent. Yousef Zalal is a guy who typically likes to slow it down. I think Billy Q's going to have an opportunity to go out there and win this fight late. Additionally, you have a guy here in Zalal who is coming on short notice, who although he has good wrestling, has seemed to tire out in previous matches as well. I think it only favors Billy Q down the stretch. Now, is there a world where Yousef Zalal is able to wrestle Billy Q and win control time that way? In theory, yes, there is, but is that 55% of the time what's going to happen? Is that something that's going to be scored well either? I mean, we saw last week that Christian Rodriguez was on his back for 4 minutes, 50 seconds, still lost that round, right? Because he's able to land more damage. So in a world where they're favoring damage, in a world where they're liking the optics better of the striking, I think Billy Q is going to land more strikes. I think he's going to be the one going forward. I think he's going to be the fresher fighter after 2 rounds, after 3 rounds. I do think these guys are going to get the nod here. I'm just going to take him on the money line, but I do like the late round sprinkles as well. I'm baffled by the line movement, and let's see if it comes back to haunt me.
All right, Billy Q on the money line now plus 109. All right, so Gordo, on the Billy Q side, Propaholic, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one. Do you agree with all that line movement?
I mean, I don't think I really agree with it fully 100%, but I guess I agree with it somewhat. I mean, Zalal is like 6-7 years younger, and he does have good cardio as well. I feel like he can actually be the one to land more takedowns than Billy Q here and maybe win some minutes, especially like the first round as well. But I'm gonna pass on this fight. I parlayed the over 2.5, but I can't really give out a bet on this fight, especially on a money line perspective and a big numbers perspective. So yeah, this fight's just a pass for me. But I'll pick Zalal by decision now for my pick in case anyone wants a bet from me.
All right, so Prop, you have 1 pass left, and Gordo, you have 1 pass left. MJ got Zalal on plus money. Well, you get to hold up your CLV trophy. You got your CLV trophy there because he's not plus money anymore. Rob got a CLV trophy as well. There you go. Heck yeah.
Oh, of course.
Is Billy injured? I don't know. That's the rumor going around town. Maybe a shoulder injury. I don't know.
Do you see that? It's the face-offs, right? So someone clipped him holding like this, and then he answers and he goes, "Oh, I'm just awkward," right? And that's just what it is. I don't think it's one where he would put himself at risk. He said 1,000 times that he's doing okay. So do his buddies, but we'll only one way to find out, and that's come fight time.
Yeah, I mean, if he was injured, I'm sure we'll find out after the fight, but I hope not. I hope that's not the case. OnlyFans fade Billy Q. Apparently, Billy does have an OnlyFans. Shout out to Dixon. Usually, the OnlyFans whisper. Uncle Wee's saying this line movement is crazy. Always makes me think somebody knows something. Maybe James Krause has made a return. No, I'm just kidding. By the way, where is James Krause? It's been a while as we've heard from him. Billy Q plus 100. Yeah, plus money now. Could be interesting. I don't know. I have a weird feeling about this fight. Like that line movement's kind of sketching me out a little bit. Why would he hold his arm like that? So obviously right in front of his opponent makes no sense at all. Agreed. If he loses, he'll be injured. Just kidding. I don't think he is. And Billy Q's not the type of guy to do that, I don't think. And Billy Q is 35. Billy Q said in his interviews he sees some weaknesses in Zalal's stand-up he will expose. There's a rumor that Zalal is laying the pipe on Macy Barber. Maybe all that grappling affected the odds, making him the favorite. I think I did hear that he's now with Macy Barber. Billy's plus 110 on DK. Is that so? That's it's interesting. It's very interesting. Will the Warriors catch up on Billy Q? I think they're maybe even starting to at this point, but We shall see. Zalal leveled up. I'm not talking about that. Can't talk about the lids there. All right, we'll move on to the next fight, though. We got the people's main event. We got Peyton Talbot going against Cameron Simon. We got Talbot minus 150. Cameron Simon is plus 130. We'll start with you, Prop. What are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with that Peyton Talbot money line. I have 1.75 units on him at minus 125. I just feel like he's gonna be the one to pressure Simon more. He's gonna be the one to land more powerful shots. I think he's gonna be able to check the kicks of Simon as well. When Kozlov was pressuring him, Cameron really wasn't throwing kicks. I know Kozlov was able to put him on the back foot. But even when you could tell in the Christian Rodriguez fight as well, when Rodriguez was overwhelming him with the boxing, Simon kind of like let go of his kicking game. And that's kind of where he really excels, where he can get distance, go to the body and kick the legs as well. But Rodriguez was able to overwhelm him with the boxing. I feel like Peyton's pressure, he's going to be able to overwhelm him as well. He's faced grappling and wrestling adversity from Cortez, who's actually like a good grappler and a wrestler. The brother of Tracy Cortez as well. So, yeah, I like Talbot. His pressure is unreal. He has a good chin on him. I think he's going to be able to close range. I think he's going to be able to land the bigger shots. I think his cardio is unreal as well. So, yeah, give me Peyton Talbot in this spot at minus 150. I still like the line on him now, and I think he's going to get the job done. I don't know by the method, but he can get it done by knockout. He can get it done by submission or by decision, but that's exactly why I'm going with the money line. So, yeah, Peyton Talbot money line for me here.
All right. Prop on the Talbot money line. Gordo, what are you on for this fight?
Yeah, these are two fighters who have kind of won me over. I wasn't historically the highest on either one of them. I do think they both have their flaws, but they have proven me wrong, and they're two guys who have earned my respect, that's for sure. They kind of bring different styles in here, though, and I do think it's one where both fighters are going to be able to have their advantages. I like the volume that both these guys have. I like the durability both these guys have, and I do think, although I like Talbot's forward pressure more, I do like Simon's ability to go out there and grapple, and I do think it's going to be a very, very close fight. I did end up picking Peyton Talbot to win this fight, but I don't think there's too much to lay minus 150 here against with a guy who is still relatively unproven, who is dating a step up in competition. So instead, I'm actually going to take the fight to end in split decision at plus 375. It is a spot that I do like this to happen here. I do think it does go to decision a lot of the time here. Both these guys have been durable. Both these guys are people who like to thrive in the third round. And if that's the case, we may just get a 3-round war. And if it comes to that, it may be a battle of who gets off the better shots. And with both these guys' styles, the range and volume of Talbot versus the potential grappling and power of Simon, I do think it makes for a very close matchup, one where I'll be very happy with plus 375 going into the scorecard. So give that to me here. I don't think I've ever given out a split decision prop in my life, but on a fight like this between two very good prospects, I do think it's be a very closely contested one and one that should be decided by potentially some poor judging.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a split here. Talbot wins. Is everybody sleeping on Simon? Maybe. Simon round 3 decision. Yeah, I kind of think whoever wins this fight, it is probably round 3 or decision. Simon by decision, close fight. Peyton's going to smash him. I kind of like that, Andrew. The Talbot money line and the over 1.5 at plus 120. I think that's a solid way to get plus money. I think Talbot's pretty good. I think Talbot is just way more physically strong. Joel thinks Simon might wear him down late with all the grappling. Yeah, I'm curious to see if Simon does try to grapple here. Talbot round 3 is always in play. I've seen max bets on Talbot this week. Crazy stuff considering he's only fought cans and had a pretty unimpressive debut. Yeah, I think I've seen one max bet from Talbot. It was with my guy Clint from the Die Hard MMA podcast. So best of luck to Clint. I think he's like 7 units on Talbot there. If Billy isn't injured, this line is insanity. I'm kind of with you, Dennis. I'm kind of with you there. All right. I say we move on to the next fight. We got Edmund Shabazian going against AJ Dobson here. We have Shabazian minus 185 now. We got AJ Dobson plus 160. We'll start with you, Gordo. What are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting one. I actually have been a lot higher on both these fighters than I should have been. I backed AJ Dobson a bunch in the past. I do think he has more tools than he'd be able to live up to, but this is just a step in the opposite direction for both guys. Edmund Shabazian is taking a big step down from Fluffy, Imavov, all those top-level guys, whereas AJ Dobson going from the slow plotting striking of Tafon Achikwi to the technical kickboxing of Edmund is a big difference here. And I do think when it comes down to it, gun to my head, I am going to be picking Edmund Shabazian. He's a guy who I do think will be able to dictate the pace. And although his cardio has failed before, those are against guys who will go forward, who will push a crazy pace, and Dobson doesn't really fit that bill for me. If that's the case, I do want Shabazian on my side, and I was close to laying the number here. But the line that does stick out to me is the Edmund decision. Last I looked, it was plus 300. It could be even better now, but I do think that's a spot that should stick out here. I mean, Edmund Shabazian, although he has that round one power, although I do think he wins, I do think he's capable of winning that very first round. Plus 300 is a pretty low indication for a guy who I do think has the better overall striking, the guy who I do think can bank the first 2 rounds at a very high clip, and the guy taking a big step down in competition. Although the KO's on the table, Dobson has been pretty durable, and just to get such a big plus money number on a guy who is minus 200 kind of sticks out to me. So give me a decision here. Should be an interesting one. I do think Shabazian gets it done, though. The questions just revolve around his cardio, but I don't think it should matter too much against a guy here in Dobson who is a bit slower.
All right, taking the Edmund decision plus 300 there. Propaholic, what are you liking for this fight?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go Gordo as well. I'm going to pick that Shabazian decision as well. I have 2 units on him at minus 180, but I like the decision at 3-1. I just don't think Dobson's going to be the one to overwhelm Shabazian unlike the top fighters in the division have. I just don't think Dobson's cardio. I feel like Dobson's cardio isn't bad, but I don't really think his power is really there to like get the Shabazian that much. I think just like skill to skill, Shabazian is just way better. He's fought the way better competition. He's knocked out guys like Brad Tavares as well. But I just feel like Dobson, he's just not really high volume. I bet on him against Tafa, but that was a way different stylistic fight. Shabazian's going to be moving around. He's going to be landing the better kicks. He's going to be landing the bigger shots. And I just don't feel like Dobson's going to be able to find him. I just don't think Dobson's output's really that good either. I mean, the guy lost a 30-27 to Armin Petrosyan. And Petrosyan, who has no grappling as well, is minus 200. And I mean, we've seen Shabazian go for takedowns, land takedowns against Imavov, and put Imavov in submissions as well. So I feel like to have Shabazian at minus 185 just because of the cardio aspect of things against top-ranked guys like Hermanson and Brunson who have way better grappling and wrestling and were way better than AJ Dobson, just feel like this is a pretty much of a stealing line on Shabazian. But to get a good line on him, the decision at plus 300, I think is the best way to bet him here.
All right, both guys going with the plus 300 decision props for this fight here. Picking decision as well for Edmund for what it's worth. Let's see here. Gordo, you wearing an MMA hat?
Yeah, I got the UFC one on today. Simple.
Oh, nice.
Nothing like that.
Nice hat. I like
Thank
it.
you.
We got the W in there. Heck yeah. Is this an Apex card? Yes, it is. Why the late main start card? I'm not sure, but they are starting very late here. Edmund KO 1. Jovan got a unit on Shabazian decision plus 350. That's a good line there. It's now plus 300 best price there. Edmund double chance KO or decision minus 140. Really? That's kind of wild. I don't think he subs him. Edmund decision. I love it. Edmund will gas and Dobson will get his first finish. I mean, it wouldn't be the most shocking thing, but I think this should be a fight for Edmund to kind of get back on track here. All right, guys, time for the co-main event. We have Carl Williams going against Justin Tafa. We got Carl Williams minus 177, Justin Tafa plus 152. We'll start with you first, Prop. What are you liking for this co-main event?
Yeah, so I like Justin Tafa. I'm just gonna go with the line because I just think it's a stupid line. Justin Tafa round 1 KO is plus 450. I mean, it's literally his path to victory. If Carl Williams can't get him down in the first round, he's just gonna get knocked out as well. And if you guys actually go watch Williams walking up to the scale, he was limping as well, really bad, and he was limping going down the scale as well. I thought it was pretty suspect. He's coming off a neck surgery as well. He's coming from American Top Team, going all the way back to Syndicate MMA. His main sparring partner has been with Jamal Pose's camp, who I really feel like I don't think is a bad sparring partner for Tafa, but I feel like he could get a better sparring partner. I feel like here he's just gonna get overwhelmed by Tafa. I feel like whenever he closes the distance, I think he's gonna get rocked. And Tafa, people were running to the window to bet Justin Tafa at plus 120 against Lima, and he's 2-1 underdog against Carl Williams and plus 450 to knock out a guy in Williams in round 1. Yeah, give me that line all day. It's the guy's path to victory. But my biggest bet of the card is on the fight doesn't go for 2.5 units at minus 175 though. This fight's gonna be violent, and I think if Williams gets on top of him, he can definitely finish top as well.
All right. Yeah. Tafa KO 1 plus 450. I think that's probably his path here. Gordo, how are you seeing this one?
Yeah, I have the same way. I also have a bet on the fight doesn't go. I think it's one that, it's either going to be tough in the first few minutes or it's going to be Williams taking over. Both these guys are guys who I think excel where the other guys really are hindered. And I do think although Tafa has that round 1 KO equity, if he doesn't get a KO in the first 3 minutes, the guy sucks. Like the guy has no ground game. The guy has no volume to win a decision, but he has the opportunity to go out here and live up to his price tag. I actually also have the KO at plus 450 written down here, but I'm going to get a bit crazy. Let's have some fun here. Let's try to catch 138 here. And let's go with the Williams KO 2 at plus 1200. I think that if he's able to survive that first round against Tafa, he has a clear ground advantage here. He has a clear ability to go out there and land from top position. And Tafa really is horrible off his back here. So although Williams hasn't been a historical finisher, this is going to be the easiest opponent on the ground yet. Shall it get there? And we have seen time and time again, if Tafa can't get around 1 finishes, he does fade down the stretch. So although I do like the Tafa KO 1 as well, I think that's a good line. And although I do have the same fight doesn't go, let's have some fun here and back the guy who I do think has a ground success.
Yeah, nothing wrong with having fun on the show. 1,200 for that KO2 for Gordo, and prop taking the KO 1 plus 450. Tafa walk-off KO incoming. Tafa KO or Williams decision minus 142. Don't hate it. I just don't like playing props like that personally, especially at juice. Double chance. Williams round 3 parlayed up. Williams KO or sub plus 175. Speaking of injury, Tafa had major knee injury a month ago. Yeah, he did. He pulled out of the Lima fight. And like you said, prop, Williams is coming off like a neck injury as well or something?
Yeah, bad neck injury. He went into the Sherman fight with a bad neck injury as well, but got it after the Sherman fight.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Tafa KO under 60 seconds. You'll probably get good odds on that. Tafa is going to be playing the floor is lava. Absolutely. He needs to, like, one takedown. It could get bad quickly. 500 watching, only 11 likes. If there's 11 likes, I would probably quit YouTube, but I think you might have to refresh Jovan. But maybe there is only 11 likes. That'd be quite interesting. All right. So yeah, let's move on to this main event. And by the way, if you guys have not liked the video, please consider liking the video. We're about to talk some Rose Namajunas, Amanda Ribas. We got Rose minus 221. Amanda Ribas is plus 186. Looks like some late money coming in on Rose. Well, actually, she was minus 300 at one point. The line came down. She went to like minus 200, and now she's back to minus 221. Ribas plus 186. We'll start with you first, prop. I think you have to pass on this fight, but what are your thoughts overall on this main event?
Yeah, I got to pass on this fight, but I have a track bet on the over 3.5 at minus 125 on DraftKings for 1.25 units. I just feel like to have the over 3.5 in this fight at minus 125, I kind of feel like is pretty much of a steal. I just don't really think Rose is going to pressure Ribas that much. I feel like she's going to use her jab. She's going to maintain distance. I think Ribas, for especially her first 5-round main event, I don't think she's going to come out too crazy like she's been coming out in her last couple of fights. Yeah, Rose has power, but like she only has 2 knockouts to her record, and they're giving her KO line at plus 140. I know people are saying Ribas is like her chin is washed and everything, but like, is it really that washed to have a girl in Rose who her KO win was back in 2017 and then has an amazing head kick win in a minute, and then we're putting her KO line at plus 140 just because Ribas has been knocked down and has shown that that she can get hurt in fights. I just feel like it's not really. I just don't really think it's good. Like I just feel like the over is a good bet here. I like goes to decision as well. So yeah, I like Rose by decision as well. I feel like that's a good line as well. I feel like she's gonna cover her price, but there could be some big moments that Ribas could have. But I feel like Rose wins like 49-46 by unanimous decision on all scorecards. So give me Rose by decision here, and the fight goes.
It looks like Monies has come in on that fight goes throughout the week. It opened up plus 150. Yeah. It's now plus 125. I would tend to lean that way as well, but I don't have a bet on this main event personally. Gordo, I think you have to pass as well, but what are your thoughts on this main event?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting one, but these are 2 fighters who I do think there's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts about them, right? I think that there are questions about where Rose is with her, let's say, mental state, right? I'm the best, throw 3 strikes, cool. Whereas it's the chin that's a concern for Ribas, right? And both these fighters have their flaws, and I think if that's the case, I'd rather sit back and download data on these 2. I think they're going to be fighting again soon, so might as well see where they are and not really waste too much on what is a decently lined main event. I do favor Rose here. I do think she has more paths to getting it done. I do think she's fought the better level of competition, but I'm not at the point of backing her at minus 200 against someone who will be as aggressive as Ribas. So I do think it's a very interesting one from that regard. I do think that also when it comes down to picking a way that Rose wins, she has a multitude of ways of getting it done. So another very interesting line to look at. I will be passing on this one. The pick is Rose, and it should be an interesting one to see where both these fighters are in their career.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm awake for it. Like, it's by the time this fight goes down, it's gonna be like 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if I can stay up for this one, but we'll have to see. OnlyFans fade for Ribas. I'm pretty sure Ribas does not have an OnlyFans. Joel saying this fight, I have no idea. Ribas, thug. Rose sucks after the third round. She laid on Wei Li. Rose inside the distance plus Billy Q plus Ramos inside the distance. Somehow I feel like Ribas gets it done. No one likes Rose, or no one likes Ribas. I think it should be lined a little bit closer. Yeah, I mean, I'm not laying minus 220 on Rose, but I do think she should win. Ribas by decision. Rose is more myth than monster at this point. Rose money line in the over 2.5 is plus 180. Great value. I tend to agree with that, but still not enough to make me pull the trigger on this fight personally. I agree with Gordo there. Rose shouldn't be a minus 200 plus. Yeah, it's not something I'd run to the window for. UFC Apex card starting at 7 p.m. feels like a crime, especially with this trash card. It does feel like a crime. It does. This has been the longest day ever, and the fights have not even started, and we have 13 fights. So, yeah, we're in for a long night, but it should be fun. All right, so what we're going to do now is go over the bets for this card, and then we're going to give our best bet for the entire card. If you hit this best bet, your profit is going to double. So say, for example, for some reason, Gordo's best bet is Rendone by sub at plus 1,800. If you hit that, not only will he get plus 18 units, he will get plus 36 units. So let's go through, make sure we've got everything correct here. And we'll start with Gordo. We got Mick Parkin money line to kick us off, minus 130. Eigor to Silva money line, plus 146. Rendone sub, plus 1,800. Passing on the win fight, Cody Gibson money line, plus 120. Ramos fight won't start round 3, minus 122. Hollowball finish only, minus 140. Passing on the Padilla fight, you got Quarantillo money line, plus 109. Actually, I saw a plus 110 there, Gordo. So let me fix that for you. Every little thing matters. We got the Talbot fight ends by split decision, plus 375. Shabazian decision, plus 300. Williams KO2, plus 1,200. Then passing on the main event, Gordo, does all that look right? And if so, what is your best bet for the entire card?
Yeah, it does all look correct. I think when it comes down to my favorite bets on the card is either Quarantillo or Cody Gibson. Both those guys I do think shouldn't be underdogs here. But when it comes down to my, let's say, highest paying one, I can't do it with Rendone. So let's get 24-1 on a Williams KO2 here. Like I said, very likely that Tafa is able to get a round 1 KO. But if not, I do think Williams has round 2 success. And we're getting 24 units. Shall it come true?
There you go. All right, let's see if you can hit a big one there. Prop, you're taking a pass on the Parkin fight. You're taking Eigor to Silva money line as well, plus 146. Zelenova decision, plus 125. You're taking the win to win by split, plus 700. Gibson, round 3 sub, plus 4,400. Ramos KO1, plus 600. Hollowball KO, plus 650. Bahalo money line, plus 150. You're passing on the Billy Q fight. You're taking Talbot money line, minus 150. Shabazian decision, plus 300. Tafa KO1, plus 450. Passing on the Rose fight. Prop, is all that look right? And if so, what is your best bet for the entire card?
Yeah, that's all right. I'm gonna go with that Hall about KO at plus 650. I just feel like the line's wrong there. I feel like Zellhuber didn't really overwhelm Ogden because it was Zellhuber's debut. When Mata was able to get to Ogden, he actually was able to hurt him, and Mata doesn't really have the grappling to able to really defend takedowns. He was actually able to defend takedowns for the first 2 rounds up until the 3rd round. And we've seen Hollabout tested on the ground against high-level competition as well. Yeah, we've seen Ogden sub 3 times, but we've also seen Ogden rocked on the feet. And we know Hollabout's got that dog in him. We know he's got that aggressiveness, and we know he packs power as well. And he rocked Austin Hubbard in the last fight as well, who's a cardio machine. So yeah, give me the Hollabout KO at plus 650. I think we're going to get a huge fucking payout on it.
All right, to win 13 units. There we go. There we have it. Thank you all so much for watching. Going to kick it around. Gordo, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. It should be a good one. And you know what? I know the fights haven't started yet, but this for me at least helped me pass the time, where they're going to be coming through soon, and happy to talk fights always. You can check out my work at Plays and Fade Sports on YouTube. I did a full card betting and DFS breakdown for every single fight that posted there, as well as a 5-minute best bet video that I posted myself. Check that out there. And on Twitter at GamblesGordo, I have my full slate of bets posted there. I wish everyone the best of luck in all your DraftKings and betting endeavors, guys, and let's make some money. Cheers.
All right, Prop, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys can find me at MMA_Propaholic on Twitter. I have my Discord linked there as well. My YouTube is linked there as well. And I drop all my bets first in my Discord as well. I have 3 bets for UFC Atlantic City as well. And if anyone's going to UFC Atlantic City, let me know because I'll be going there as well next week. Can't wait. I'll be sitting floor seats as well. So should be a hell of a night. Can't wait to see the card next week. It's a fun card next week. And can't wait for these fights tonight, guys. Best of luck to you guys, Brady and Gordo. Best of luck to the chat. Hope we all make some money. And yeah, let's cash some tickets tonight. Hope we all win some big money, man.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Best of luck to all you out there. If you guys can, on your way out, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and be on the lookout for Atlantic City content. I've already taped all 14 fights. I just have to record my breakdown probably sometime tomorrow. And yeah, should be an interesting one. And we'll talk to you guys very soon. See you later.